Have you seen any of the things that I've been doing?
Yeah, I just went and looked.
Yeah, obviously in a perfect world, in a perfect setup, you'd come over, you'd chill out. We'd kind of talk about all kinds of like gym, fitness, and exercise kind of things. In today's world, in 2020, you got to keep your social distance. You got to keep everyone, safe away. But whatever you think is best, whatever you think is best.
I'm like trying to figure out how this lighting should,
Whatever works best for you. There's no pressure.
like, if this is better or worse. This is not like the idea. Oh, that's the wrong light switch. Okay.
The first way you had it, the original way wasn't bad, but honestly, get comfy. Get comfy.
Okay. I'm still waiting on a couch.
Oh, yeah?
Ordered a couch in February and COVID.
Oh, boy. So where did you get it from?
West Elm.
Okay. And is it taking like just a long time to deliver? They don't have the product, or like what's happening?
It was like not made to order. Like it was a custom type deal. And so it's supposed to be delivered between December 22nd and January 4th.
Wow. December 22nd and January 4th.
Yeah.
Wow. So money back, the refund, or what happened there?
I'm just waiting on it.
You're just going to let it be.
It's the only couch that I wanted, I was looking forever for a couch. Saw this one that I wanted really bad, and then it was expensive, and it wasn't going to get delivered until the end of the year. And I was like, oh, I'll just look for something else. And then it was one of those, like, if I don't get the one that I want, then I'm going to be disappointed.
Fair. Yeah.
So I just did it, and I ordered the one that I wanted. And I'm just like, wow, it would be cool if I wasn't living here for a whole year before I had a couch, but whatever.
Is it coming from like the same state, or where's it coming from?
I have no idea.
So they just took your money and ran, and just going to say, yeah, I'll give you one couch later whenever we get a chance.
Yeah. So that's how that, but yeah.
How's life?
It's good. It's crazy.
That's good.
It's stressful, like being an adult. General thing is stressful.
Yeah.
And then of course, like with my profession, I'm a police officer, and so that's like it's a stressful job on its own. And then you kind of add in all the things that are happening in the world, and it adds to the stress a little bit more.
Of course.
But it's really a fun job. It's just and your schedule is all off. I just woke up at like 3 hours ago I woke up.
Okay.
So and now it's 6:30 at night. So it's like my schedule is all over the place, and that's what makes it hard. Like a lot of, if you want to talk like fitness and stuff, that's what makes it hard for a lot of like law enforcement and stuff is
Sure.
Is that schedule. It just rocks you. And it's we work 12-hour shifts. So sometimes
you guys do the 4 on 4 off, or is that how it works?
4 on 3 off, and then 3 on 4 off. We switch every other Sunday off.
So you go 8 straight? More or less. So if you go 4-3, 3-4, or do they like mix it up, or 4-3, 4-3 all the time?
4-3, 4-3.
Oh, Jesus. Because I can't imagine doing 8 days off, but you know what? 6 days off might be the payoff. So
nice. I've been able, like, I could do like 14 days off work and be like, it's good. Yeah. So I feel like I need to wear my hat. I don't know.
Do it up. Whatever's comfy for you.
I feel like this is kind of like,
This is the social Sabina.
Yeah. I don't know. I just feel like my hair is dirty, which it is. And so the hat just kind of makes me feel a little bit more secure with my hair.
Listen, if this makes you more comfortable, if this really makes you more comfortable, you remember working with me, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So if this makes you more comfortable, how about this? I got a little ponytail kind of going on the top.
Oh my God, that's crazy.
So I'm just going to use my mic or my headset just to pull that back down.
Yeah. Ponytail.
Yeah. But that's what the world's come to. That's what this world's come to. If you don't mind me asking, so I know you're obviously a police officer, but how's dealing with that right now? I know it's so tough.
Like, I think the most important thing to remember, and it's like, it's easy to look at society and be like, wow, everyone really hates us and nobody wants us around and everyone wants us to like not do our jobs. But and you get sucked into it, you know, especially
For sure.
with, and you're watching stuff, and you're, you know, even your friends, like I've got friends that post stuff and, you know, about, you know, like
social justice and police brutality, et cetera, et cetera.
And it's frustrating because I know only good cops. I don't know any bad cops. I don't know any corrupt cops. I don't know any cops that don't want to do good work. Like I know some lazy cops, but I don't know cops that get into police work to
be an asshole,
be a villain. Yeah, like I don't know any that. So I think the most important thing to remember is that like you get into the job for a reason, and you end up, I mean, every night, like people, it's, you know, have you ever called 911? Like, when was the last time you called 911? I hear that a lot on the internet. And a lot of that comes from, and not to say it like for lack of a better term, but like from privileged people who don't have to call 911. They live in, you know, like very safe communities, and they have security guards and things like that. And I mean, we are busy all night. It's like I work 12-hour shifts, and I mean, there's been shifts where you just go straight through 12 hours and then into the morning, calls holding for 24 hours people are calling police all night for So I think it's just hard because you get miserable. You look around and you're like, wow, everyone hates us. Like we don't get, and you don't do the job for clout. Like you don't do it.
Yeah, you don't do it for the love, you know.
Do it to be appreciated. If you get into police work to be appreciated, it's probably not going to last very long. And like you just do it because it's what you want to do, and you see the impact that you have, whether that is taking like somebody who needs to go to jail. Like that's not something that people really like. You don't jump for joy when you're taking somebody to jail most of the time, unless they're like a violent criminal that you're like, yeah, this guy needs to be locked up or this locked up. But it's definitely like you get those rewarding moments sometimes where you show up to a call and it's something like a car accident where someone's stuck in a vehicle, or anything with children, people calling because they were assaulted, and you really take pride in doing that part of your job because you know that like without you, this person would not be getting justice. And so even though it seems like there's not, like, to the outside world, like this type of crime doesn't happen all the time. It's only in TV shows, but to us, it happens every night. Like, like every night you're getting
not only any night, but like, it's not like it's scheduled. Like it happens anytime when you get the call, right? You're always on call for that scenario.
Yeah. So it's, I think like it is hard because if you listen to like outside voices and you let it dictate what you do and you let it affect how you do your job, then you're going to get burnt out. You really just have to remember like why you started. And also that at some point, this pendulum is going to swing back, hopefully, to where people recognize that like we do need police, and like I think it will eventually come back around, but it is like just you have to be so patient, and you have to be patient with people too in general, and really focus on making positive contacts and treating people with respect and dignity. And I explain everything to everybody when I talk to them, because I don't want anybody I like an explanation for stuff, like most people do. Like no one likes to be just left in the dark, you know? So I always explain everything because my job's not a secret. You can go look up the laws and it'll tell you what it is. And
yeah, you're going to show up to a scene where typically the people know more or less what's happening. They just want to know from you why you're doing what you're doing.
Yeah. So that's like, it's a stressful time, but I think it always will be. Like, I think the job is it's a stressful job in general, but you're with the public, you're dealing with strangers every day, you're like, you insert yourself into people's daily life in like the most crucial moments of their life that normal people don't see.
Yeah.
So it's a very rewarding career, but it's also very stressful, and you have to remind yourself and be around good people who don't make you cynical.
Of course. I want to share an experience with you. So I know that you're from a very far distance, a police officer.
Hmm.
I want to share a police officer experience that I had, I want to say about maybe 4 or 5 weeks ago.
Okay.
So, if you don't know, I'm managing it at a national sports. So I'm in Mississauga, not the location you're at, but I was in Mississauga. And in our area, the Peel region, they basically have more or less restricted everything. So, at that time, we had like a 10% capacity. Like it's a really, really low capacity for customers to come in. And we had a police officer come in, and he wasn't trying to do anything. He was just trying to shop, just trying to be a nice guy. And this was the first time I was able to talk to a police officer. Like, whenever police officers come in, I'm not afraid because I did something. I just want to be respectful to them.
Hmm.
Sometimes they're doing their job, but I also don't know what it's like in today's world to be a police officer at all. So I wanted to talk to him, just pick his brain a little bit, see where he's at. And at the end of it, I ended up having to thank him for his duty and service, because that's what he's doing for us. We don't see it all the time. We don't see it every day. We don't see it every week, but you guys are out there working, 40 hours, 40 plus hours, kind of like what we are doing. But what we don't see is that it's for our protection, for our safety, and you're serving us. So for yourself, you may not get a ton of appreciation from people that, talk to a police officer. Sometimes you do. I bet you do.
Yeah.
But I want to commend you for your work as a servant for the public, and just thank you for the hard work that you're doing. So
My pleasure.
Keep that up. It's actually really funny because I never thought I would be talking to you about this on the police officer's side, because I remember working with you as little blonde, kind of quiet Sabina that was like just kind of bubbly around the store and just like, getting her way around the store and just trying to fit in,
Yeah, and sports out in which one? Whitby, right?
Which one?
Was it Whitby? The Whitby store?
You were in Concord with us, and like Vaughan and like Woodbridge and Maple. But I heard you made your way around a couple of locations, right?
2-3 different stores I worked at. Yeah, like
really.
And yeah, I think I worked at Pickering, the like warehouse store, and then Whitby. I worked at Whitby for sure.
Yeah.
And then, which was a small store, and then I worked at the Concord store.
Yeah. So do you miss it or what? What do you think?
What's that?
Do you miss it?
Jeez, no. I worked at Keg too. So here I am working for all these Canadian companies, but I worked at the Keg too as a cocktail server and a bartender. And like, it's just funny because like I think everybody should have to work retail and customer because it makes you appreciate everything so much more. What's funny is I remember specifically I was working on the shoe rack one day at your store when you were managing, and I was like putting all the pairs of slides together and like hanging the thing, and I specifically remember you telling me like how great of a job that I did on
that's what we try to do
on organizing the shoe rack, because people come in and all they do is mess everything up. So
just pick up shit and just drop it, right?
It's just crazy. It's the same thing with like, it's funny because it's almost the same thing like with retail. There was no reward. So you would like do all this work and then like would come like mess it all. And it's almost like that too with police work sometimes. You do all this
I believe it.
And then either the bad guy, walks out of jail while you're like sitting there typing up the report on a domestic violence, and the guy walks out the jail, and you're like, like, what just happened? Whoever the victim comes and bails him out, and I'm like, stuff like that. It's the same thing a lot of times, or like the DA, they won't take your case sometimes, and you're like, wow, cool, like
thanks for the support.
Yeah, so it's funny, but no, I definitely do not miss retail. But okay. I sometimes do miss like the area, the GTA, the people from up there. It was just like, it was such a good time in my life, like living up there, and it was just like very carefree. I was like 19 and I'm 26.
Holy smokes.
I
Was it about
know.
7 years? 7 years
Yeah.
ago or so? Wow.
Yeah. So it's been like, yeah, I was 19 years old when I think I was 19 years old when I moved there. And then
Time flies.
I know. It really does.
Time
Crazy.
flies. So I do remember when I went back to the location, long story short, but I was there 8 years ago. That manager at that time left. Nadeem came in, and then you came in. Yeah. So at that time, it was a really, really interesting time. Like, it was kind of like a whole bunch of staff coming in, coming out, but at the same time, there was like a nice group of like young people that were just good to talk to, good hearted.
Yeah.
And I know you were getting your experience and your first taste of Canada at that time.
Yeah.
Is there anything that you miss from Canada or Toronto?
So many things. Number one, the people. Like, I will never meet like another group of people like that are like people from Toronto. I don't know what it is about it. People are happy, healthy. Like, people are out riding their bikes and jogging and running and like so much outdoors stuff. People are always outside doing things there. Poutine.
Nice. Is there anywhere to get that there?
There is a little Canadian,
like a fry shop, probably.
Yeah, like a little pop-up.
Yeah.
I forget what it's called, but it's like a guy straight from like Mississauga who runs this shop. It's actually funny because I ordered a patch from this company called Patch Panel, and they're actually out there in I think Mississauga as well. And I ordered a patch from them, and I was like, wait a minute, like I live near there. So it's cool, like the connection. And but I just feel like there was always so much to do. I feel like there was always so much to do there, and everything was so close. Like, you could just go downtown Toronto, and like, it's hard for me because I'm a country person, but I love the city too. Like, I'm both.
Yeah.
I like, some people are one or the other. I'm both. I love the city of Toronto. Just like so cool. There's always like famous people walking around. There's like always just celebrities there. You got all the basketball teams coming in. You've got all the NHL teams, like
baseball teams in the summer coming by.
Baseball, I know that's your thing. Baseball teams, and then of course, like, you got Drake and like walking around.
And Drake's Bieber.
Justin Bieber. Like, you got all these people from that area. Shawn Mendes. Like, I remember, like, people that I worked with in Toronto went to high school with Shawn Mendes because he went to Pickering High.
Okay. Nice.
So like people who went to high school with Shawn Mendes, and I was like, what? That guy's like so famous. So I don't know. I just think that's cool. I could think of a million things that I miss about it, but I think just like the people, and I was actually supposed to go back like twice this year to Toronto.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but COVID. I was supposed to
of course.
February, like March when COVID first started for one of my friends' birthdays. We were going to a cottage, and then I didn't end up being able to go. They canceled my stuff. I was really upset about it. So hopefully, like, all of that will be over soon. I mean, over as in like I can leave the country and go to Toronto.
Can you even leave the state? Is that a thing, or like what's happening? Okay.
Yeah,
pretty free.
It's pretty open. And it depends on the state that you're in. Like, I know my friends, some states are having closures again with like stuff like that. Texas, where I live, is still open. Like, everything is still open. You just have to wear a mask. But even then, some people are not wearing masks when they go out and or like in a store, or it's just like kind of this gray where people are doing whatever they feel like doing. But on the flights, like, you have to wear your mask the whole time. Actually, I have a friend who flew from Wyoming to Okinawa, Japan. He's in the military.
Oh, wow.
And he had to wear a mask the entire flight to Okinawa, to Japan.
And that was probably at least, what, like 12 hours, 14 hours?
it was like, yeah, like probably 14, 18, I don't know how many hours, but like an entire day of wearing on a plane. So it's been nuts. But yeah, you can travel outside the state. And I was supposed to go to Tanzania too, actually, a couple weeks ago. I was supposed to go, I had planned to hike Kilimanjaro this year.
Oh, wow.
Like as a solo trip. This is like my eat, pray, love time in my life right now. Like I'm like, you know, finding myself and all that, whatever. And I was going to hike Kilimanjaro like solo. That ended up getting canceled. And I'm almost kind of glad that it did, because when COVID started, so I bought this flight to Africa before COVID started. And then COVID happened, and like, you know, you kind of like the gyms are closing, the fitness is going down, like you're like cooking is canceled, you're just eating whatever. And so I'm kind of glad that it got canceled, because I don't actually know if I would have been able to survive Kilimanjaro by myself right now.
Can you imagine?
We'll see, maybe next year.
Can you imagine, like, for whatever reason, let's say the border closes down and you'd be stuck. You'd literally be stuck for basically until they allow you to come back. Can you imagine being stuck?
So that was my other concern too, was when COVID first started, I was supposed to go to Toronto like the week that COVID like happened. And I was like, hopefully next week I can come, you know, like next week after we stop wearing masks, I'll be able to fly out there. And then then you started realizing like, oh, this is not going anywhere. And I was going to just fly to Toronto anyway and just whatever, but was mostly concerned about getting stuck across the border if they decided to like cancel all these flights, everything.
Yeah.
And then I would be, you know, quarantined, which is fine because I could just stay with all my friends who live there, but also I would be missing work and I would have to like figure all that out, and it was a disaster. And so, and then again with Kilimanjaro, when flying out to Tanzania, my layover or my connecting flight was in Amsterdam. And I was like, imagine, because I had talked to the airline, and it was basically like, you could fly from here. So it was supposed to go Texas to JFK airport in New York, and then New York to Amsterdam, the Netherlands. And so when they were like, okay, if you're in Amsterdam and they decide like not enough people are on the flight from Amsterdam to Kilimanjaro, they won't do that flight. So I'm like, that's kind of risky.
Of course.
I'll be stuck in Amsterdam and then like have this trip book like Kilimanjaro, which would end up being non-refundable if I can't fly from Amsterdam to Kilimanjaro in time. So like, it was just better to cancel everything. And I'm like, I was disappointed, but also kind of glad. So next year I actually have a trip scheduled next October for Bali, Indonesia. And I'm like hoping that maybe by October 2021, I'll be able to fly somewhere. We'll see.
It should be good. I got a horror story for you.
Let's hear it.
I have a really good friend of mine, goes to the Philippines every year over the wintertime, goes for a month. He ended up leaving middle of February and was supposed to come back middle of March. Of course, that's when they shut down everything. So when he was supposed to return back is right when they literally closed the border. No more flights coming in from the Philippines into Toronto. He ended up getting stuck in the Philippines for, I want to say, 3.5 months.
Oh my gosh.
So luckily was able to stay with some of his family. Otherwise, can you imagine having to pay for the food, the hotel, a rental, a car? Ridiculous. And for him to even get back, he had to go to South Korea and then come to Toronto. But even at that point, are you really willing to risk yourself leaving your family, leaving a little bit of security to go chill in South Korea airport for a transfer? Like,
yikes.
I have no idea. So luckily made it back, and will not be traveling to the Philippines for a long time.
Over it.
Yeah. Have you, I know this has kind of been the topic of everything. Have you hit COVID fatigue?
Like, as in, am I tired of COVID?
Or are you tired of hearing, like, I don't know what's the vibe out there? Is everyone kind of afraid of the cases? Like you said, people are like half when it comes to masks.
Okay, so me personally, and like this is sort of like a controversial stance, I guess. I had COVID already.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Yeah, I had it and I
Oh, wait.
experienced,
No, no, I did notice that. I did know that. Sorry, I did know that.
yeah, I had zero symptoms. Like I felt completely fine the entire 2 weeks I was quarantined. I was working out outside in the open air. Like I was completely feeling completely normal.
Hmm.
And so to me, like, I don't know if it's just an immune system thing or if it's because I like live a healthy lifestyle. Like I'm active, I work out every day, I eat like healthy food. So I'm like wondering if that has anything to do with it. But overall, I think most people are fed up with wearing the masks. Like it's just like it's become part of life, but also it's just very, I think we're just tired of it.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
especially in at work, we have to wear it, you know, and I understand because like we're around all kinds of people, vulnerable people all the time. But also like, and this is kind of where the controversy sets in is, I mean, we're talking to sick people, regardless of COVID or not, all the time. People with, you know, blood diseases
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
other kind of communicable diseases that we don't know about and things like that, touching people,
Close
people
contact.
close contact. We're touching people every night, so like you're always gonna be like at risk for something. I have talked to, because we're not always on COVID deaths, like we get sent to some like
Numbers and cases and data.
yeah, or like COVID, they end up being labeled as COVID deaths or like things like that. But I know a lot of the firefighters that I've talked to are going on like COVID deaths every day. Like, and so I think like the overall vibe is like we are tired of wearing masks. Not like I'm speaking for like people in Texas in general, and not like my department or anything, because I know there's people in my department who are who are afraid of the virus and don't want to talk to people, don't want to do anything. And we've also had a lot of like 170 law enforcement deaths, not at my department, but over across the country related to COVID-19. So like, while I know that it's a real virus and like people are dying from the effects of it, I'm still just like, what are we supposed to do?
Yeah. Yeah.
We can't stop it. Like it travels in the air, it's on things that we touch, like it's just out there. So it's just to the point where I'm so like, I'm just tired of hearing about it. I don't like, I feel like it's become so politicized, just like everything else does.
Of course. Of course.
And so I would like to be like done talking about it, but I understand like,
Sorry.
no, not you, but like I understand that like there are people who are really suffering from it and like who have lost like family that they know and stuff like that. My experience with it personally, like I had the virus and I wasn't sick, but my friend who got it at the same time as me, he was really sick, like fever, chills, like throwing up, stuff like that. So
Yeah.
you had it whose symptoms were more mild. She lost her taste of like her sense of taste and smell, and I was literally fine, completely fine. So I don't know.
You're a mixed bag. So I agree with you. I 1,000% agree with you. The wearing of masks, you know, I understand as someone that's, you know, supposed to be a leader myself as well too. I understand that I have to set an example for the people that work with me. So I will do that for respect of trying to set an example for the people that work with me. Mm-hmm. Do I think it's serious? It's obviously a virus that's out there. It's obviously a virus that, you know, some people can potentially get, but I also believe that you're also in charge of your health. So for someone like yourself that you said, you know, you live a healthy lifestyle, you work out, you exercise, you take care of your own body, you eat relatively well. I mean, that's like a common message that a lot of us kind of just take for granted. But I think that also does play as to, you know, how well or how effective this virus could be.
Yeah. I don't know. It's a interesting time. I think, and try and be like empathetic toward people and respectful of their opinions about things, and respectful of, they would prefer to wear the mask. And so I just don't want it to get to a point where we're being, and this is like my conspiracy theorist coming in, but I just don't want to get to a point where not just like those type of things are being controlled. It is frustrating to see like small businesses are being shut down, but large corporations are not. Why is Walmart allowed to be open, but this guy's Etsy shop is not?
Yeah.
Like, the, Applebee's and Chili's and all the chain restaurants are allowed to be open. You can wear a mask, but you can take it off when you sit down. But this guy's family-owned restaurant is not allowed to be open. This stuff doesn't make sense to me at all. They've been talking about they need to close all these businesses and don't have people over for Thanksgiving, but nobody said anything about Black Friday shopping and like sleep side of GameStop waiting for a PS5 to drop. Like, so I find it suspicious that like, and I feel terribly that people who have like small, like gym owners, people who own their own gyms, people own their own CrossFit boxes that had to close down for several months, lost their livelihood and lost their business. And like, I just find it suspicious because
I agree with you. I
don't know. I just find it suspicious.
Totally agree with you. I'm not a massive conspiracy theorist either, but I totally agree with you on that one. The small businesses, whether a restaurant, a grocery store, or whatever they are, like they're definitely suffering, and I definitely feel extremely bad for them. And if possible, I'll definitely try to support them. So if that means I have to buy a meal like every single day of the week, I almost did that actually like a month ago. So
yeah,
if that's one way I can support them, I'll support them. But totally unfair. Definitely totally unfair. It's not. It's not right. And I don't think anyone really has the right to kind of decide what business needs to stay open and be closed.
Yeah.
In addition to that, if they really are concerned about people's health, talk about some of the things that are really good for you. Talk about some things that like would really benefit your health, as opposed to saying what you can't do. Like tell them what you can do, promote what you can do. Like, I don't know. I'm just that mindset of like, you can always take it two ways. You can either say no, be negative, and just kind of completely avoid it, or you can be positive about it, find a good solution towards it, and make it work for you. And I think that whole side is missing. That whole side is completely absent. So it's part of the reason why I have you on the podcast. Because when I look, and again, we don't talk a lot. This is the first time we've talked in like 7 years probably. But the little Sabina that I remember used to like bubble around the store and just, fix those sandals up nice and tight for me and keep that department looking good at the time. You're not the same cat anymore. So before you go, I want to ask you to kind of give some of the listeners a background about yourself. Obviously, we know that you're a police officer, but give some of the listeners a background about yourself.
Okay. I don't know where to start. Let's just say like, supposed to be the way that I am now, and like I don't think I've really changed a whole lot. Like I have changed, but like at the core I'm still the same person I always was. Like if you talk to people that I went to high school with, like they'll tell you that I've always been this way. Just like a very ambitious person. I was raised that way. My parents are both like very successful, and they took different routes to get there. It wasn't run of the mill, like graduate high school, go to college, get married. Like it wasn't like that with my family. And so my life has kind of been that same way. Like my dad is a Green Beret, and he has I think he's going for his PhD now. And my mom was in the military as well. And she's going for her master's in counseling to be a therapist for veterans.
Wow.
Wow. PTSD. Yeah. But she's currently a high school teacher, and teaches like special education and stuff like that too. So my parents are both like very successful and driven people, even if it takes a while, like a roundabout way to get to their goals. Like my dad will be 51, or I think 51, or 52 on December 1st. And so like they're doing this sort of roundabout way of getting things done. And that's just kind of how I was raised as well. And my brother and I have the same like interest. It's very interesting. We have the same mindset on things. We just live a very different lifestyle. My brother's an entrepreneur. He works out in California.
Cool.
And very different things. And he basically he works for like a dispensary, I think.
Okay. Cool.
We'll go with that. But so we just have like a very different lifestyle. I think fitness was always a priority in my life because I played sports all growing up. And, you know, I wanted to be in law enforcement since I was a kid, whether that was, I wanted to be FBI really bad. That was like my dream.
Could still get there.
Watch too much TV and want to be FBI. But it's like, I grew up, my dad was a bodybuilder.
Okay.
And,
okay.
Like competed in like bodybuilding competitions and stuff. And my mom used to tell me how she would make him like 4 like double tuna fish sandwiches to like get
to maintain the protein.
Yeah, she was like, they this thick, like 3 slices of bread, like all this tuna, like 4 of them a day. He was just eating, you know. I joked with my mom one time because I saw a meme about feeding a baby a protein shake, and my mom was like, "Oh, we did that with you," and I was like, "What?" And so she was like, "Yeah, go ask your dad." So I texted my dad. I was like, "Did you guys feed me protein shakes out of a bottle when I was?" Favorites were vanilla and strawberry.
Nice.
I was like, "What?" He was like, "Yeah, you liked it." Like, and I asked the doctor, and they said that was fine. It was good for your bones. And I was like, "Oh my gosh, you guys are crazy." But like, it was kind of just always there: fitness, sports, and then like
to that degree, yeah,
and like just this sense of, and also like this sense of service, like serving others, which both of my parents do selflessly.
Yeah.
So it was kind of, I was just brought up to be that way. And then as far as like my personality goes, I've always been like very driven, very ambitious. I was the president of my class all 4 years. I just have like this really in my like super bubbly personality and try and get along with everybody. And I don't, you know, people are like, "Oh, if you have enemies, that means you're doing something right." And it's like, I would rather not have enemies. If I can, like, you know, it's like that politician in me that I like want to
kind of buff the surface a little bit,
yeah,
you know, clean off all the rough edges.
Yeah, like be around people and you know, get along with everyone. And I've slowly come to realize in my adult life that people aren't going to like you just because they don't like you. It doesn't matter. Be like Mother Teresa and people are still going to hate your guts. So, you know, I kind of gave up on the people pleasing part of things. But that was sort of like the growing aspect for me, is just the maturing and just realizing that like you are sort of like, I was really focused on other people for a long time, making other people happy, doing what other people wanted me to do. I didn't want to hurt anyone's feelings, or especially people that I love, like didn't want to hurt their feelings. I just wanted to make them happy. And at some point it was like, I'm going to be miserable at the end of my life when I look back and be like, I didn't do anything for myself.
Yeah.
And I had to kind of learn to be a little bit selfish like that, because I do see like that part of me and my mom. Like my mom is so selfless and she gives so much of herself. But I look at her, I'm like, "Mom, be selfish for once, you know, like do something for you." And that's why I'm just excited about like kind of where my life is going, because
you're being you. You're really trying to be you and look for you.
Yeah, just like get to be myself. And you know, when I worked at national sports, that was just like a different time in my life. I was young. I was kind of just out there doing whatever. Always had the goals that I currently am like achieving now, but I was focused on some other things at the time.
Of course.
And like it's interesting because like I do look back sometimes and be like, man, I regret like having moved there, you know, because I'm like, man, I should have done this instead, or should have done that instead. But also like, it's just part of your journey.
Yeah.
And like,
yeah.
like, I'm thankful that I did live there because I'm, like I said, the people that I met and just sort of the life experience. And then, you know, not many people up and move to another country at like 18, 19 years old.
No, definitely not.
And just like kind of wing it and get a working visa and work at a sporting goods store and just kind of like immerse yourself in this culture up there.
Yeah.
So yeah, my background, my personality, like who I was working at national sports, and now like who I am as a law enforcement officer, like my personality is very much the same as far as like I'm super extrovert, still very bubbly, like I still smile all the time, like I am I'd be very organized, like I want to do the best still, like I want to be the best employee, and I want to, you know, make everybody happy. And but also like it's hard to determine whether or not like my job has affected some of the other parts of my personality. Like I definitely went through some like really low points right when I started my career, personally and professionally, and kind of just having to work through that and figure out like, number one is, yeah, like how do I work through this? Like, what do I need to do to, number one, like keep myself sane, but number two, like reach my goals and be the person that I know that I am and know that I want to be. And a lot of that reminder comes from, I think, people, like my personality type, just like people reaching out to me and being like, oh, I lost 55 pounds since I started following you in May. And I'm like, oh my God, that's crazy. Like, I'm like, that makes me feel so good, you know? And it like motivates me to even get up when I don't feel like going to the gym. And I'm like, remember that person who messaged you and was like, hey, I lost 55 pounds because of this? Or like, hey, I just went through a really bad breakup, and your personality, like on Instagram, and just your like,
I latched onto you.
Yeah, like how this is going, I mean, how you are, it just like makes me feel better. And I'm just like, oh man, that makes me feel good, because it keeps me motivated and like keeps myself in check, and like just being like grateful, and just remembering that like you may not be ever like super famous, you might not be the president of the United States, maybe not everybody ever is going to know who you are, but like you can affect like one person at a time. Like you can still influence people. Like some guy the other day sent me a picture on Instagram of his like his 12-year-old daughter, and was like, turns out you're influencing 12-year-olds. And I was like, oh, that's cool too. But again, like that means I take myself very seriously, and like the decisions I make in life I take very seriously, because I know that people are watching. And I don't want to ever be like a bad example. And I always want to be that person who people are like, I want my daughter to be like you. I want my son to be like you. I had somebody tell me that. I want my son to be like you. Or I want my, you know, like, to me, that's like the biggest reward, is just getting to be myself and having people think that I'm worthy of being that role model for,
oh yeah, for sure,
children, or even just for themselves. Like, hey, I want to get into law enforcement. You've inspired me to do this. Like, even though it's crazy right now, do you think I still should do it? Or I want to get out of law enforcement. Like, what do you think? Or, and I don't ever feel, sometimes I don't even feel qualified to answer these questions. Like, what do you mean? What do I think? Like, I'm just nobody. Like, the patrol officer out in Texas, and I work out. But yet somehow people would like to know my opinion on certain things. And I think a lot of that has to do with, you know, my experiences in life, and just my ability to communicate with people, And it's like, it's just very important to me. And that's why I take everything that I do so seriously and put a lot of pressure on myself. My friends are always telling me, relax, relax, relax. You need to relax. But it's hard for me to relax.
No, I totally understand.
Yeah. So anyway.
I think you nailed a whole lot of points that are absolutely bang fucking spot on. The first one, you mentioned that your parents were, you know, they had to hustle through many avenues in order to find their success. And I think that's what we're doing as young people. We're experimenting, we're failing, we're learning, but we're learning what works for us. So I think through that entire path, one of my last guests, you might actually remember my last guest. You remember Damon or no?
Yeah.
Okay. So my last guest was basically Damon. He was trying to lose 80 pounds and he was a big husky guy. But what he realized was along the way, it's not about losing the number of 80. It's about like learning what he learned along the route. So you learn more along the process of failing and experimenting. Whereas if you just played it safe, you would never know. So I think that's in you. I'm not saying your personality changed in that sense, but I think you changed as far as your body, your health, and you've taken it to a whole different level.
Yeah.
The next thing that you talked about was, you know, trying to be that example and being that leader, and you have that personality to be that. I think people attach to you for a very specific reason. It's because of that personality. It's that likability. It's that familiarity that we have with someone that we see like you. And I think it's so easy to latch onto because even when you were at National, you were definitely that person that would like, we can always say that was Sabina. That was like who you can attach to. That's who we can associate with. Like that's someone that people see and we definitely relate to. So you're 1,000% relatable to a lot of people out there. You're definitely an influence to a lot of people out there. And I think it would be a disservice for a person in your position and a person in my position to not want to influence others.
Yeah.
If we have this strength and this inner belief in what we are and what we want to achieve, why can't we motivate 1, 2, 5, 10 other people to do that? Like it's so much more empowering. And I 100% agree with what you said, because you might have people messaging you and saying, I need to get out of law enforcement. Like, what do I do? Or I'm looking to get into law enforcement. How do I do this? And we have the rights. I think we've afforded the right to influence those people because we've gone through those experiences. So 1,000% agree with that. And I think you have all the power in your body and your fingers to do so, right? Got to do it. You definitely have to do it. What's really intriguing to me is, where are you working out right now?
Yeah. So
what is this garage I see?
So there's a couple. So we have several gyms at work. We have an academy gym, which is inside.
Cool.
And then we have a gym at the South Station. We have 2 stations, a North and a South. So we have a gym at the South Station, which is like kind of a little tiny gym with a couple, like it has like a Smith machine, a treadmill, and you know, a couple like dumbbells and stuff. Then we have a gym at the North Station, which is sort of the same, Smith machine, a couple like one weight rack, stuff like that. And then we have the barn, which is where workout.
That's where the big garage bays are, right? Yeah. So, nice.
And that's where we keep the vehicles for work, and some of the fire guys keep the like the paramedic vans in there. And I guess
like a storage locker, almost like a big garage storage locker.
And like before I even started working at the department, I guess one of the assistant chiefs had created that gym out there. I guess it originally started as like a spot for the SWAT guys to work out, because there's like several weight racks, sandbags, tire flips. That's all, the ropes are in there. So it kind of was like this barn gym, warehouse gym, CrossFit box type setup for I guess the SWAT team, which I didn't know when I first started there, that it was like kind of the SWAT team's area. They told me.
So you made it yours.
Yeah, well, they told me gave me the passcode to it. So like, I just started working out there because I like, number one, it's Texas and I love being outside.
Oh yeah, the weather looks phenomenal. It's not even funny.
Oh my God, the weather is great here. And I love it too. So like even in the summertime, I love being outside. I love sweating a lot and like just feeling like hot and miserable, like and for apparently, but I loved working out outside. So I started working out there, and then kind of heard like, oh, this is kind of like where the SWAT guys work out, but I didn't really know that that was a thing until people started mentioning it. Now there's like many people work out there now.
Of course.
Not like SWAT guys, but I think what happened was people didn't realize that it was open to everybody. It was kind of like, this is where they work out. But I think that it's important that there's access for everybody. So we have like several gyms that we can work out at.
Nice,
so I've been working there. And then I actually got a gym membership at another gym, which some of my pictures are in too. It's got the red walls, and it's a nice gym. It's
nice.
It's a collegiate training facility. It's owned by Aqib Talib and Von Miller.
Wow.
Yeah. So I've seen Aqib Talib in there like several times. So they own that gym, and it's also a good gym. It just doesn't have the grit that I like, which is why I like the barn gym better, because it's dirty and like
kind of brings out the country in you, I guess, right?
Yeah, like I don't know, like cobwebs in it, you know, freaking dead bugs and stuff. I don't know.
Yeah.
I just like it in there. It's like this little sanctuary. Whereas the other gym that I go to is more like prim and proper, and it's
clean.
Very clean. Yeah. And I'm like, man, I kind of wish that it wasn't so clean. Like I really like all the things being dirty and full of dust and dirt and cobwebs.
Yeah.
So yeah, but that's where I work out.
Cool. So I want to ask you about some of your general training principles. So what are some things that you believe in? What are some like common myths that people believe in that you like? What are some training things that you really believe in? Is there like a set that you try to hit? Is there a rep that you try to hit? Like, what are you trying to aim for when you get to the gym?
So the first thing that pops into my mind is sleep. Like, to me, sleep is like number one. It is so important to get the right amount of sleep. It affects everything you do. It affects your mental health. It affects your physical health. It affects the ability to build muscle and recover after work, lose weight, and
you're hitting everything I'm loving right now. You're hitting everything I love right now.
Like, I love sleep. If I don't feel like I got proper sleep or enough sleep, I probably won't even go to the gym, because I just think it's so important. And it is hard for me because of the schedule that I work. So I get off 8:00 in the morning, and then I start again the next night at 6 p.m. So I have only 12 hours between my shifts.
And not only that, you have to sleep during the day.
Yeah. And I sleep when the sun is up. So when I get off work, I try and go home, eat, shower, like sleep. And then I wake up at around like 2:30 or 3. So by the time I get to sleep, it's normally around, if I get home on time, which sometimes you're not going to get home on time.
Of course.
But like on an average where I get home on time, I try and get to sleep by like 7:30 a.m. at the latest. And then I'm awake by 3 or 3:30, you know, between 2:30 and 3:30, I would say. But if I wake up and I'm like exhausted, or I wake up before my alarm at like noon or something, I just wake up and I'm like, dang it. Like, it's just not a good time for me to work out because I don't feel like my body is properly recovered, and I'm not even going to have a workout that's worth it. Like, I'm just going to,
you're just going to go through the motion.
Yeah.
Sleep
is like the priority.
I fucking love that, by the way.
Yeah.
You know what? The one thing that I always ask people about the gym and like them working out is like, I'll ask them the same thing. What are some principles that you really believe in? And they'll be like, oh, I believe in like 8 to 10 reps, or like, I need to have a pre-workout. But no one ever talks about how much sleep you really need. So I fucking love that. I fucking love that.
I could sleep so many hours. So sleep to me is number one. Like if I don't get enough sleep, I'm probably not going to hit the gym, which is crazy because you just have to recognize. And that's the like not only self-control, but also just sort of that mastering of your body and like mastery of like fitness and things like that. And just recognizing like, okay, me taking off the gym for 3 or 4 days or even a week is not going to kill my gains, you know.
Understood.
It's not going to kill my progress.
I think some people just think of like, oh, I have to go to the gym and I have to train and I have to like, you know, do a chest press. Yeah. But you know what? Sometimes the best thing for you is taking the day off and getting some sleep.
Yep. 100%.
It's so crazy. But people are like, you know what? I have to go get a chest pump. I have to get this. And you're still young. So I kind of commend you for coming across that at an early age.
Yeah.
I'm 33 now. I know that's quite an old number I'm an old man. And you know what? People laugh at me because I like going to bed early and I like sleeping in. So it is what it is. But you know what? Sleep is absolutely important. And unless you're actually like getting enough recovery time for, like you said, mental and physical, you're not going to perform well in the gym.
It's like very important, I think. And then I think what else? Well,
what are your thoughts on like stretching and like and getting loose, either pre or post?
So this is like really funny to me because you know, I played sports my whole life, and like proper warm up and proper cool down was always part of athletics.
Yeah.
Like when you play, because I played soccer, that was like soccer and then martial arts. Those are my two sports, really. I played a bunch of, I did swimming for a little bit. I did, you know, some other, I don't know, I did everything, baseball, but like soccer and martial arts. And it's like, okay, so before a soccer game, you show up and you're warming up. Like you're stretching as a team, you're warming up, you're kicking the ball, you're doing all kinds of stuff before the game actually starts. You're getting all warmed up. After the game is over, you do a cool down lap around, you know, during halftime, you're stretching, stuff like that. Martial arts was the same way. Class, 15 minutes before we start class, you stretch as a class, and then you know, you get done, you work out. And so then once I quit playing sports and I just started like working out. So when I first started fitness, like lifting free weights and stuff like that, I didn't know where to go or what to do. Like that's classic, I think, of people who are getting into fitness. It's like you show up to a gym and you look around and there's a bunch of machines everywhere and you're like,
where do I begin?
You're like, what do I even do? And you kind of like walk around and like throw some weight on some press machine or some leg press.
Or just put slow on the treadmill and just walk for about 10 or 20 minutes.
Yeah, like you have no idea what to do. And I remember being that person, like walking into a gym and even in, so I would say I really started I started in college, I started working out, but it wasn't every day. Like I'm consistent now. Like I work out every single day. It's like a lifestyle. So I remember, it's so crazy to think about like my fitness journey when you talk about it. It excites me, actually. It like motivates me. When I graduated high school, I moved to Dallas and I wasn't playing sports anymore. And I wanted to be fit. And a lot of that had to do with, as a lot of people do, men and women, how I looked. I wanted to look a certain way.
Yep.
I didn't want to get fat. I wanted, you know, I was muffin top. I remember I followed this girl called Muffin Topless.
Nice. Okay.
And like, I was like, okay, I want to look like her. And I actually downloaded like her nutrition guide. And I started doing CrossFit when I was in college with this guy named Tucker. And he would like tell me what to do, and we would just go to the gym on campus. Okay. And we would work out, which is funny now because Tucker actually owns his own CrossFit box.
Nice.
Like, yeah. So like nice. He like followed his dream, and it's been nearly 10 years since like he and I used to work out in the campus gym. And now he's like he has his own CrossFit box. He's competed at like CrossFit regional championships. He went to Ireland and competed there. So like, he's like really living it up. So I remember doing that. Then I leave Dallas, I moved to Toronto, and I'm like, okay.
I don't remember you working out a heck of a whole lot when you were here.
So I really did, like, I was again sort of in that space where I was like, what do I do?
Fair,
I was
fair.
more just active, like I wasn't working out, like I wasn't lifting weights. I was more just active, like I would run and paddle board, kayak, like ride bikes.
Yeah.
I was living an active lifestyle, but I wasn't necessarily working out. Then I started going to CrossFit Totality in Oshawa.
Cool.
So I started working out there, and I worked out there for quite a long time, actually. I don't remember exactly how long I was there for, but that was when I really started like getting into fitness. Seriously, was when I was at CrossFit Totality. Mm-hmm. And the people there were really great. I met some good friends. It's crazy because like I'm still friends with people. Like I'm friends with people on Instagram from National Sports and like from CrossFit Totality. And so I started working out there doing CrossFit. And I remember being like feeling strong and being like, wow, like I can do, like a barbell snatch, and I can like clean. I remember specifically when hang cleans. And I remember hitting a PR and like trying to get up. Like I was like
just holding it.
Yeah. And like everyone's like, I'm like super cheering you on. And I was like, all right, awesome. So like hit that PR. When I left the GTA and I left CrossFit Totality, I moved back to the Dallas area and lived here for about a month or so before I was like, okay, I need to find a gym.
Yeah, I gotta find a spot.
So I started going to different CrossFit boxes because again, like that's all I had known was CrossFit. And so I started looking for CrossFit boxes, and I found several of them that I started going to. I went to 3 or 4 CrossFit boxes here. Very expensive here.
Here in Toronto or like in Texas?
In Texas.
Yeah.
I don't know how expensive they are up there. I don't remember CrossFit Totality being as expensive as it is down here. It was like $170 a month.
Wow.
Here. And I was like, oh my God, it's so expensive. And the class times, like that's the thing about the CrossFit boxes for me was the class times. You had to show up for certain classes and I couldn't always make that class, or I had to do something else and I was working another job, and it just wasn't fitting into my schedule.
Yeah.
So then, but I started going to one CrossFit box a little bit regularly. It was right around that time that I started following Lori Christine King on Instagram.
Cool.
And she is awesome. Like she's very knowledgeable about fitness. She's very much like here to make people get fit. And she has a program called Paragon Performance Methods, Paragon Training Methods. At the time, I think it was Paragon Performance Training Methods. Now it's just Paragon Training Methods. So this is 2 years ago, 2018. I saw Lori Christine King's program. And this was right when I started being a police officer. It was about 2 years ago. And so I left CrossFit and started doing just like free weights.
Okay.
And I downloaded Lori Christine King's program and just loved it. Like,
I'm assuming it brought back some of those CrossFit movements, but in the gym.
Yeah. Like I finally knew what to do. Like and she had YouTube videos, and a lot of this had to do with in the academy, in the police academy, there are awards that you get. And I'm very award driven.
If you see the carrot, you're going to run to it, right?
Yes. Like
you're going to sprint.
Dude, I'm like very inwardly motivated, clearly, but I'm very outwardly motivated. Like inwardly motivated. Yeah. Outwardly motivated. more so. Like, I love winning and like winning prizes, and like I love awards, and like I love the applause. Like, I'm not afraid to say that I will do it for the, like, I will do it for the,
you got it for the clout.
yeah, I'll do it for the clout. I will. And that was the thing. So we're going through the police academy, and day one, they tell us that there's these awards that you get at the end. There's a fitness award and an academic award and shooting award. And I was like, well, sign me up. Like, here we go. I want all the awards. So that's when I really like started taking my fitness seriously, because I wanted an award. But also started realizing the effect that fitness has on my career. And I just like became, I wouldn't even say addicted because it sounds wrong. I just became enthralled with it. Like, I was in love with it. Like, I was like, wow, it makes me feel good. It makes me look amazing. Like, it gives me something to do that's not boring, and I get to get out of the house. Like, I just loved it. So I started working out every single day for this fitness award.
Nice.
And like, I was obsessed with winning this award, and I did. I got the fitness award. So
you mentioned there were a couple awards. So what was the one that you got, or did you clean the house?
Yeah, I got the fitness award, and I got third in shooting, which like I was like, but I should have gone first in the shooting. I could have done it. But I got the first in the PT award, and I got third in the shooting award, and I was 0.67 points away from an academic. So I was pretty close to triple crowning there. But it was actually this is actually kind of funny. The test at the police academy that brought my score down to that 0.67 points away from an award was the Texas Alcohol Beverage Code. And that was like the one I scored the lowest on. I was like, I've been knowing these laws for like 6 years. Like, how did I score the lowest on this test? They want to know all these time dates and things. And anyway, but that's why I really started working out, was because I wanted this fitness award. And when I started seeing results, it just motivated me more. But I didn't do it for like, so the burnout for me all throughout my fitness journey was results. Like, the burnout was results, because you work out and you want to see results. You go to the gym for a month, you want to see results. Like, where are my abs? Why is my ass not growing? Why do I not have biceps? Like you're
all common problems everyone has.
Like, for real though, you're like looking, when you start fitness, you're like results oriented. Most people start fitness for physique purposes and for like results oriented purposes. And to me, that was the burnout, because you don't see it. And like, you don't start seeing it for a long time, and it happens over time, because you look at yourself in the mirror every day. You don't notice yourself getting older. You don't notice, you don't notice yourself getting more fit. And so to me, it was definitely like results. The burnout was the results. But when I look back now at 2 years ago, 3 years ago, 4 years ago, I'm like, wow, I was like, I don't look the same as I did back then, but I didn't even notice it.
You don't notice a difference. No.
Yeah. It just became part of the lifestyle, and the results followed that. And so, so now I do, Lori Christine King's Paragon training methods, and I've been doing it. It's sort of a split. It's like, upper body day, lower body day, lots of mostly free weights. But I have SWAT tryouts in March.
Okay.
And so I need to change my training method.
Gonna amp it up a little bit?
To some high intensity stuff. It does concern me a little bit, because I like how I look, and I'm like, oh, so I'm scared, like, if I do too much cardio, that I'm gonna lose like muscle. But you have to do what you have to do for different goals. So until March, like, I've switched it up to a more athletic style training program by Mountain Tactical Institute. And then I feel like maybe sometimes I'll get to accessorize my training with some other stuff. Speaking of recovery, like, I bought a Theragun.
Nice. Which one did you get? Is it the triangle one?
Yeah.
Wow, good for you.
I got the elite one because it wasn't as effective as the pro.
What was it? There's one that's like the stick, but that one I don't buy into. It's the same brand, but there's like, it's just the stick.
Yeah, no, this is like, I bought it last week and I've had it for like 3 days because it got here from shipping and stuff, and I've used it every single day. And
Nice.
I downloaded, because I'm starting to take more seriously the pre-workout and post-workout sessions, the warm-up and the cool down, because I am getting older, and I am realizing that those things are significantly more important than almost anything else, is what you do like on the outside of your actual fitness training. So the pre-workout stretching, and then the post-workout cool down, and then what you eat before and after, supplementing with protein and stuff post-workout, getting those carbs in, and pre-workout and things like that. So I downloaded GoWOD. Cool. And I've had it for like 3 days, and I really like it because it's just it's a mobility app.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, so
mostly for post workout, I guess.
For pre and post.
Okay, cool.
And daily, even on days that you don't work out. So I've done 3 days of the pre and the post workout things that they recommend, and I try not to fall into those traps. But like Matt Fraser, CrossFit Games GOAT, he is like an advocate of the GoWOD mobility app. Okay. I would like to think that he actually uses it, but maybe he doesn't. But I would like
maybe
to
he
think
just sponsors it. Maybe he just sponsors it.
Sponsorship. Who knows? It is good. It's good for fitness. A lot of the athletes use it. Brooke Wells, she's on there. So
Brooke's pretty badass.
Yeah, she is. And so I just I think it's really important now just to focus on pre-workout and post-workout. I don't want to suffer from any injuries. I want to have better lifts. And something that I think should be done more, that I don't do as much, or that I stopped doing a little while ago, is tracking my fitness, tracking PRs, tracking my weights.
Your results.
Like paying attention more, so that I'm building strength and, seeing the results and seeing the progression. Because if you don't keep track, you're just kind of like,
you're just winging it. You're not keeping yourself accountable to anything. You're just going to keep going every day. You're just going to keep doing the same workout, and you may not get anywhere.
Yeah. So that's something that I've decided to start cracking down on a little bit more, is just paying attention to what exactly I'm doing. Just being a little more focused. I was very focused for like a year. I was just talking to one of the guys at work last night. I think I counted macros for like 365 days, like an entire year. Didn't deviate. I just track. And I intuitively eat right now, and I have been for about a year now, and just intuitively eating. And I've gained like 30 pounds. Not bad or anything.
No, of course not. Muscle weighs more than fat, so don't worry.
Yeah. I've just been like intuitively eating for like a year now. But the only reason that I'm able to do that is because I counted macros for so long that I can look at food and know what's in it. Like I can look at a protein and be like, yeah, that's some protein. Like I can be like, okay, I need 2 chicken patties. That's probably going to be like 40 grams of protein. Like, but that took me a year of macronutrient counting so that I could look at my food and be like, this is what I have here.
Yeah. Some people don't understand that though. Some people just see the way, they see a chicken breast or they see a piece of chicken and say, I'm just getting my protein in, but some people can't quantify that.
Yeah. And people, I would recommend, like, if you're just starting out with fitness, like track stuff, because you can learn very fast, like how much protein you need, how many carbs, like how much fat. Like I know when I'm going over fat macronutrients, I keep those the lowest. Not into the whole keto thing, but my fat macro is pretty low. So I know, like, if I use olive oil on something or avocado oil on something, I'm looking at it like, okay, that's some fat. Back. Yeah. But I'm not like super restrictive with my diet, and I haven't been for a long time. But with tryouts being in March, I have December, January, and February to like really like tighten up on all of those things. And so that's sort of my motivation for the next 3 months. And I'm going to start weighing my food out again, because of a goal that I have. But if I didn't have that goal, I'd probably just continue to eat intuitively.
Yeah.
So
I wish you luck. I don't know how much we're going to be talking, but I'll definitely keep messaging you back and forth on Insta. But I definitely
yeah,
wish you good luck on your SWAT tryouts.
thank you.
A lot of people don't have that insight to actually change up their training. So I think the fact that you've identified the fact that you need to change up your training, and I know for a lot of people, they might beat a dead hammer until the end. They might see it and say that, you know what, I'm going to keep looking in the mirror for those abs, and until those abs pop,
Yeah.
I'm not doing a good enough job. But I think you've also realized that it's not really about those changes you're going to see tomorrow or the day after or the day after that. It's going to happen over time.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
I think they're just patience in general. A lot of people just need to have patience in general. Just trust the process, as a lot of people say. Trust the
Yeah.
process. I mean, it's so simple, but it really is true. It really
Hard to keep in check, because you just want to make stuff happen now, but the
takes
process,
time.
trust it.
Yeah. How do you so is there any specific proteins you're on? Is there something specific that you use? Like, what about like protein shakes? Are you a big believer on those? Like, do you pound those?
Yeah. I drink a protein shake with 5 grams of creatine every day. So right now I've been using less naked whey protein.
Okay.
And then just pure creatine monohydrate, which is probably the most scientifically proven like workout or like fitness supplement out there. Creatine is like scientifically proven to encourage muscle gain and like weight loss, and it's just
if I'm not correct, it also reduces muscle fatigue as well too.
Yeah, so it's like it's like the golden egg of fitness
of supplements.
Yeah. So I really like it, and it doesn't taste like anything. It's just white powder.
Yeah, basically.
I just I will like every couple months like creatine load, which is just like I do like 10 grams of creatine for like 2 weeks instead of 5.
Do you end up cycling it though, or do you just stay like pretty consistent?
I stay pretty consistent at 5 grams, and then but I'll go up to 10 every couple months when I feel like it. All right, a little more. And then whey protein, which it took me a long time to find a protein that I liked. This one from Less Naked Whey is good. It just tastes like a malt.
Okay, cool.
Milkshake.
Yeah.
I'm not into I've done like the Vega protein, like the pea protein. I think
you don't mess with that,
whey is king.
You don't mess with that.
Nope. And I did also a couple different like types of proteins, but this one I think just sits well with my stomach. It doesn't mess me up, and it's just good. And then for pre-workout and post-workout, Bravo Actual supplements. I was actually using their products for a long time before they reached out to me, and they were like, hey, we'd like you to be a brand ambassador. And I was like, what? Nice, and so like shameless plug them, but I use all their supplements. So I use pre-workout, and I have been since before like I was like sponsored by them. And then their post-workout after action recovery, which is sort of just like, it's like pretty salty, but that's because when you work out, you lose that sodium. So it's just like full of enzymes, things like that. And then a sleep supplement from them as well. It's a sleep aid. It contains melatonin, but it has some other stuff in it too.
I figured it had some melatonin in it.
Yeah, but it's really good for especially people who work shift work, because it's hard to fall asleep in the daytime. And then on your day off, your schedule is all mixed up. So it's been really good for me too. I used to have really bad insomnia, and that's helped a lot, as well as the Calm app. The Calm app. I listen to Matthew McConaughey's.
I've heard about that too.
Yeah. Matthew McConaughey puts me to sleep every night with a sleep story. So there's that. But yeah, so anything else that I do, I take iron because I'm like historically anemic. I haven't had my blood tested in a while, but I know that I've been anemic in the past. So if I feel like I'm a little bit lightheaded or something, I'll take some iron. Magnesium is a good supplement to take, and zinc and a B12 complex.
Nice.
Vitamin B complex. Yeah.
Have you heard all this? Have you heard all this research about vitamin D as well recently?
Yeah. And I work at night, right? I don't ever get to go outside. So
other than working out, of course.
Yeah, for sure.
But
so, yeah, is a good one.
It's good. It's good. So how long have you been with Bravo? Not that you're trying to like push that plug in there, but how long have you been with them so far?
So I've been taking their supplements, over a year or about a year. And then they reached out to me in, I think like maybe May.
Oh, okay, cool.
About the ambassador program. So, I think the main thing for me was I actually started, so I was writing for reviews for a website. And so they actually sent me the first pre-workout that I tried from them for free to write a review on it. And I was pleasantly surprised because it had everything. It's like sitting right here, which is why I keep looking at it. It's like,
Go grab it.
My eyes are like shifting over here. So like they sent me, actually this was the flavor they sent me too. Patriot Pop was the first one that they sent me. And I tried it and I was like, oh my God, because first of all, pre-workout used to mess up my stomach. Like the classic game where it's like, and we take pre-workout and now I got to run to the bathroom before I do these deadlifts.
Yeah.
Like, how that was. And also I'm already very high energy. So like pre-workout would like make me super jittery and like my heart rate would get all crazy.
Did you ever get like the jittery fingers as well too?
Yeah, like all of that stuff. So this one was amazing because, which is why I kept using it and buying it after they sent me my first free one. I bought it, continued to buy it with my own money when I first got it. And so it has the beta alanine in it, which is the stuff that makes me tingly, which I like that feeling. Some people, but I like it. And then the caffeine. So there's 250 milligrams of caffeine in here. I was taking ones that were like 300, like between 200 and 300 milligrams of caffeine. Okay. So again, like we're getting into all the nutrition stuff, but I try and stay, if I was not doing shift work, I would try and stay below 300 milligrams of caffeine a day. But because I work shift work, I try and stay below 400 milligrams, which is the recommended amount for an adult male, is 400 milligrams of caffeine daily. Not to go above that.
I mean, you got to get your sleep in. You got to get your sleep in, right?
Yeah. So I stay below 400 milligrams of caffeine. I monitor it like really closely. So I take my pre-workout. And then at around midnight, I have an energy drink, a Celsius or a 3D. Celsius is 200 milligrams. So that's right at
the number. 450. Yeah. How much B12 you got in there, by the way?
In here?
Yeah. If any B12, hopefully. There's usually a good amount of it in there.
Where to go? I don't know.
Usually like 2,500 milligrams or something like that. It's not important. Not important.
No,
not important.
Yeah, in the after action, which is the recovery supplement. But
you find it's essential for you though? I'm the same way. Like I try to cycle my pre-workout. I try not to hit it every single day because if I hit it every single day, I kind of feel it just loses that effect. So right now I'm currently in an off cycle.
Oh yeah.
I'm definitely looking forward to when I get back on.
I use it pretty much almost every day.
That's cool. That's cool too.
The reason is because number one, I like how it tastes. And number two, like most people, I'm a creature of habit. And I have like a system that I do, and that if I'm kind of like out of order on my system, especially like on days that I work, like, so I'm like superstitious like that.
Yeah.
So I'm like,
you gotta get it in.
Yeah. Like I have to do this part of my superstition.
Yeah.
Like got to get my shaker, put the ice in it, put the Topo Chico in it, which is mineral water, makes it fit. Put my pre-workout in it. Okay, that's that. Like right sock, left shoe, right shoe. Like I have a whole
process
that I go through every day.
Yeah.
But so I mostly take it every day, except for if I'm going to just like run because I don't want my heart to explode. So this is the Bravo Actual. That's what I've taken Ghost. I've taken C4. I've taken.
You ever try that as a green assault from Muscle Farm?
No.
Pretty good. It's not that bad. It's high in beta alanine as well too. It's not bad.
Yeah. So I've taken like several different kinds of pre-workout. X-Works. I've tried their pre-workout. But this one just worked the best for me, and it didn't upset my stomach, and it had the right amount of caffeine, and it tasted really good. And it's also run by veterans, and a few of the guys are BORTAC agents, which is like the Border Patrol SWAT team guys.
Okay.
Pretty badass. A few of them actually are on the north border.
Oh wow, really?
Yeah. So I was like, what? Because I used to travel between there all the time. And veterans. So obviously, like, they support veterans and they support law enforcement. And to me, that's just like, it's very special to me now that I'm in that community.
Yeah.
I'm like really proud of the fact that they asked me to be an ambassador for them. And they're a smaller company, and they started a few years ago. But I'm like, I hope to see them grow like really big, because there are some good dudes that own the company, and the product is just amazing. And actually, they're supposed to be coming out with a protein powder soon.
Nice.
So
we'll keep in touch. Let me know.
Yeah, I will.
We'll keep in touch. It's good stuff. So I know you're a big workout queen right now. You've got a lifestyle going. You've got your process going every single day. So how do you turn it off? How do you relax? What are some things that you do to like just, kind of enjoy life, take it easy? Or are you just like high powered, step on the gas and go?
Oh man, that's a difficult question, because my friends, like I said earlier, especially like, the dudes that I work with, they're like, you need to relax. Like,
yeah.
I constantly like just want to. They'll be like, what are you doing on, like, this guy asked me yesterday, what are you doing on your over the weekend? And I'm like, I'll probably go to the gym. And they're like,
that's it. Take a break, dude.
Like, sounds kind of boring. I'm like, leave me alone, okay? Like, I just like to work out. If I don't stay active, I get inside my head a little bit.
Okay.
And so for me, I think I just have to like go to the gym. And I do take days off. I'm not part of the team no days off thing, because I think it's important to take 2 days off a week from fitness, 1 or 2 days off. Whether that's like one day is a complete rest day where I don't do any fitness. Another day can be like that active recovery where I'm like doing a light walk.
Passively walking. Yeah.
Yeah, like being active. But I to relax, I guess the best thing for me to do is to hang out with friends, because if I relax by myself, I get inside my head a little bit. I might stay in bed all day, and it's just like not really healthy.
Yeah.
So I do like have to like get up and find someone to do. And actually getting my dog was a really big part in that, because she, like, I'm forced to get out of bed.
She's your passive active person thing.
Yeah.
She's just going to keep you active. She's going to keep you honest.
Yeah, for sure. So I ended up getting her because I was feeling a little bit lonely, a little bit depressed. And so I got my dog because like on days that I was like really not wanting to get out of bed and like sleeping to avoid feeling anything, she makes me get out of bed and go play frisbee or go for a walk. And so that's been good. Recently I've discovered like reality trash television.
Nice.
Like never used to be in, like I've never watched reality TV.
Are you watching like the Housewives and all that stuff?
The Bachelorettes.
Nice.
I never used to watch this ever. And I still like, even now, like I have to force myself to, because it's this like innate desire in me to be the best ever. And so I'm reading policies for work. I'm reading general orders. I'm reading case law. I'm reading traffic law. Like I'm watching YouTube videos. Like I'm immersed in this lifestyle. I'm, going to the shooting range or dry fire or going to the gym or like I always feel like there's something that has to be done. Like I need to pay a bill. I need to do this. I need to clean the house. I need to like, gotta do all this stuff. And so before I get burnt out on life, I was like, you know what? Maybe it's not so bad if I just like literally set, and I've had to do that before where like, okay, you're feeling sad. Okay. You have like 1 hour to feel the way that you're feeling. And then we have to get up and do something.
That's a good go. Yeah. Let's move on.
Like, because otherwise I could sit like, okay, if I'm in bed and I'm like, I don't feel good. I don't feel like getting up. I feel really fucking sad. Like I'm feeling like miserable and depressed. Like, okay, you have 1 hour. And then we have to do something. And so that's kind of how it is me with the, with like watching Bachelorette right now is,
you'll watch a show, kind of feel bad about yourself during the show and then just like get out and, I gotta go for a walk.
Exactly. Like, okay, we need to relax. We need to like not think about anything else. We can watch this trash reality TV show and then let's get up and like do something. So it's this balance between, and then of course for me, most importantly, I think is just having those friends because, they help me relax too, because most of my friends are not doing what I'm doing. Most of my friends are not working out every single day. They're not like working on work on their days off. And that's just my personality type is like work.
You're working.
Yeah. And I like that. Like if you know that, and if you know about Enneagrams at all, the Enneagram personality types, I'm a type 3, which is like the workhorse type. And everything I do is like work and I love to do it, but it is like, you don't realize that you need to get out of your head and just relax.
Take a breather. Yeah. And just take a breather.
And it's okay. And you're not going to fall behind. But always remembering like somebody's gunning for your spot. Yeah. Somebody else doing the work if you're not going to do it. And that's how I am. Like I sit here, I'm like, oh my God, I'm not doing anything. Somebody else is doing what I'm not doing. And it's like healthy, but also not healthy at the same time. So I have to find that balance. That's between like finding a friend, just hanging out, not thinking about work, not talking about work, and just like bullshitting and relaxing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I know you try to relax as much as you can. You've got a great physique. I can't see you right now. You've got an awesome physique, but I want to know, you've got to enjoy some cookies or some pancakes or something. Like, what's your vice? You got to tell us what your vice is in public.
Potato chips.
Nice. Are you salty or sweet?
Okay, I could like spin off every question you ask into like a whole but
well, I'm going to get to another food question for you afterwards.
I used to eat sweet. I used to eat salty only. Like I love salty food. I was never into and stuff. And like for the past like probably year, I just love like sweets. Like
it's so bad too. I'm such a sweet person, but it kills me.
I feel like men are normally into sweets and women are into like snacks.
Perhaps like salts.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
But like I can down like 3 bags of chips, like 3 family size bags of chips, like no problem. And I'm like, oh shit, I can't believe I just ate all those.
My girlfriend's like a quarter of the size of me, and she can finish a bag of chips in 20 minutes, maybe 15 minutes.
Y'all were dating? Are y'all?
Yeah. So do you remember?
That's like the same one from National Sports?
Yeah. Her name's Alexandra, if you remember.
Yeah.
Do you remember working with her?
Yeah.
She says hi.
She was like cashier.
She was at cash.
Yeah. She worked at cash.
She always remembers the first day I had with her. And the first day I had with her was, I was like standing in the pro shop at the back there. And she had to go around the store and introduce herself to everybody and say, hi, I'm Alexandra. I'm the new person. I'm new cashier. And she remembers coming to the pro shop. She remembers seeing me. And then she had to report back to Blair in the office, if you remember Blair.
Huh?
And she was like, I met a guy in the pro shop, but he's not wearing like the national sports shirt. Who is he? And Blair is like, oh, no, that's your boss. That's John. He's just supposed to be your manager. I'm like, oh, well, that's the first time we met. But yes, we're still dating.
That's awesome. Yeah. So, so I used to eat like strictly salty foods, and then recently I got into like this sweet, like these sweet kicks.
What's the sweet kick getting you right now? Is it cookies? Is it like cake? What is it? What's in your kitchen right now? Are you in your kitchen? It looks like you're in a kitchen.
I'm in my kitchen, yeah, but I don't buy sweets.
Come on now, there's got to be a sweet in that fridge or on that counter.
I would have to look. The only thing that I know that's in here is 1 pack of Starbursts.
Nice.
That I bought for like specifically
like Halloween kind of thing, and it just stuck around since then.
No, I bought one. I bought 1 pack of Starbursts so that like I could like satisfy a sweet tooth if I needed to.
Yeah.
But I don't have like cookies or anything like readily available to me and I don't buy potato chips either because of the same like there's some people that have the ability to restrict themselves and like pour them in a bowl of chips.
Yeah.
Not it.
You're an all or nothing. Yeah.
So I specifically like I don't buy that stuff. And it's because of the goals that I want. So I in like kudos to people who can have like bags of chips and cookies and snacks and stuff all in their house. I can't have that.
And burn that shit off too while they're still, living life.
Yeah, like I can't have any of those snacks in here because I will destroy them. And they don't even last a whole day. Like I'll go and I'll be like the chips 2 for $5. And I'm like, boom, 2 bags, $5. And I will devour them in the car on the way home. That is not.
So I'm going to share with you a strategy. I don't know if this is going to be beneficial for you or not. So I apologize if you end up applying this strategy. I refuse to buy bags of chips. I refuse to buy a salty snack at a regular grocery store because I refuse to pay, $3.99 for a bag of chips that's like this. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I'm not buying those bags of chips. I'm going to Costco, and if I'm going to get a bag of chips, I'm going to get like the big bag of chips.
Oh, that's a bad idea.
The big boy for like $5 because it's like 4 times the size. So at least I can reason it out on a financial side. But again, I'm not the all or nothing. I'll definitely eat that big bag of chips.
I could eat the entire bag in one sitting during my 1 hour of trash reality TV. I can eat that entire bag. Yeah,
we gotta get you like some Ziploc bags to portion yourself.
Gosh, it wouldn't. That's why I can't do it. Like there's a term for it and I'm blanking on it right now, but there's a specific term for that, like for people who are able to like portion control those type things or like resist eating those while it's in front of them, and then other people who have zero self-control over that. And I'm not afraid to be like, yeah, I have zero self-control when it comes to like snacks, especially bags of, and like if I get one of anything, like, and I can do it too. I'll even like pour, like I've done it before. Like I'll pour a bag of chips into a bowl and I'm like, all right, cool. And then I'll eat all of the chips in the bowl. And then I just go up and pour
refill
more.
The bowl.
So
I'm not gonna lie, I'm in the same boat because I just had chips yesterday. So the way I think it's reasonable is I have a small bowl, and believe it or not, I'm gonna show you a bowl that I have currently on my table right now. See this little plastic bowl I got? This is usually my chip bowl, but I'm not gonna lie, I have an oatmeal cookie in there. Normally I'd fill this bowl up with chips and I'd say that's it. No more. That's one serving. If I look at the nutrition facts, that's one serving. I'll clean the bag, watch TV for like another 15, 20 minutes, do a little editing on the podcast, kind of like do some work. I'll be like, you know what? I can go for another bowl, I think, you know?
Yeah.
So it ends up being 2, maybe 3 bowls sometimes, but I understand what you're saying. I totally understand.
Yeah. When I was macro counting, I was able to do because I was super focused. And also I'd be at work eating. And so whatever I packed is what I had. So like one serving of chips is 28 grams and I would weigh them out, 28 grams, put them in a Ziploc bag. That's all I get. And it was so bad, like looking at it, like this is 28 grams and put it in my lunchbox. And then that's what I ate at work. Like,
but you know what? That's a good thing because at work you'd be restricted to whatever you brought.
Yep.
Which is always a good thing. I always found that my best food and like body days were whenever I meal prepped.
Yeah.
If I did not meal prep, I'd be so fucked.
Yep.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So at least, you know what? Try to enjoy those things in life. Try to enjoy the sweets.
Yeah.
But just don't have them around the house, I guess. Just go get them. Go get them out if you need to.
Yeah, exactly. Just my friend's house.
So that wasn't that hard, right? The podcast was pretty easy.
Yeah, it was good.
Fairly easy. I got one last question before we wrap this up.
Okay.
And it's really controversial. I hope you know where I'm going with this. Does mac and cheese belong in Thanksgiving?
Oh my God. No, it doesn't.
Why not?
Mac and cheese is for children who don't want anything else and for adults who don't know how to cook. That's mac and cheese. It doesn't, I love mac and cheese a lot, but Thanksgiving is like a fancy meal. Like it just is.
It's a tidy meal. It's a tidy meal. You can still have, you know, some loose, you can still have some macaroni and cheese still on your table, you know?
No.
How was your Thanksgiving though, by the way?
It was good. I actually didn't do anything on Thanksgiving Day because I worked overtime Wednesday night.
You did the Friends Thanksgiving though, didn't you?
I did Friends on Tuesday, and then Wednesday I worked overtime, and then Thursday I slept all day because that's what you do after you work 12 hours. And then I went to this is actually like super lame, but I was off work on Thanksgiving. And the people at work were having like a Thanksgiving potluck. So I actually went to work on my day off to get food.
To get some food. Nice. Listen, it's free food. Who cares?
It's good. Mashed potatoes and turkey.
Your favorite side of Thanksgiving?
Mashed potatoes.
Mashed potatoes?
Easy.
Where does stuffing lie on that line?
Oh, it's in there too. Stuffing and mashed. I love mashed potatoes. So I could eat potatoes. I can eat I would go back for a whole plate of just mashed potatoes.
Really? Wow.
Potatoes are my favorite food in any form.
And you cranberry sauce or no cranberry sauce person?
I mean, I'll eat it, but like, I'm not going to ask for it. Like, if it's not there, then I'm not like, where's the cranberry sauce?
You're not that person at the party?
No.
We had this poll at work before, and we said that cranberry sauce is for intellectuals.
Interesting.
Yeah. So I just want to say thank you for coming to the podcast. I know this is kind of something new for you, a new experience for you, but I've been having this like nice little conversation with everybody, trying to understand their story and see where they've come from.
Mm-hmm.
I want to say for you, I haven't seen you in 7 years, I guess it is now, 7+ years.
Yeah.
But what I have seen personally from you is a transformation, and a transformation to your body, to your lifestyle. And I believe that you are definitely influencing others for the positive and for the good. And I want to share that story with a lot of people because not a lot of people know that story. And a lot of people are usually used to seeing, you know, a simple picture on a cell phone and just saying, oh, look, I hate to say it. I'm not going to say it about you, but like, look at that booty. Look at those abs. Look at the arms.
Yeah.
Look at like the glutes. Like everyone's so like, you know, focused on the picture and what it looks like. But I don't think people like really understand the lifestyle and actually trying to like live it.
Yeah.
It's one thing to, you know, post a picture and, you know, give your best shot, you know, have the best angle, but it's another to actually embody it and live it.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
So, I commend you for doing it. Please keep influencing those others that are watching you. and you're doing definitely positive good for a lot of people that are out there.
Thanks,
And
Manny.
keep it up. Keep it up.
Awesome.